r/AskReddit by Reddify. What items do you think everyone, regardless of gender, should carry with them at all times? Enough pockets to fit all of the items mentioned. The secret of the cargo shorts. Uncovered. They're functional. A pen in your pocket. It's not until you carry a pen on you at all times when you realize how much you really need a pen and thankful that you do have one. Edit. It's not until your comment gets so many replies when you realize the true meaning of RIP inbox. Edit 2. RIP inbox. Large ones. Light ones. Bold ones. Bright ones. Rather hard with which to write ones. Big ones. Big ones. Thin ones. Thick ones. Curly. Swirly. Push and click ones. Old ones. New ones. Black ones. Blue ones. Many. Multivaried hue ones. Ones in cartons. Ones in cases. Ones in 500,000 places. Many pens I've paid for pages. None of which I've owned for ages. Though I pause to pick and choose them. Where precisely do I lose them? I imaging this answer being near and dear to you, Sprog. An ID. Without a doubt. When I was a waiter, people used to pull the old "he's 18. He just forgot his ID" trick. Methodica. When I was 18 I never forgot my ID. For this exact reason. I once asked a table for ID. The guy provided his. And when his date couldn't find hers he told me it's okay. She's good. Like seriously? You want me to risk being personally fined just because you can vouch for her? Sorry. No dice. I don't know you at all. So how do I know your word is good? Gum. You never know when you'll need to freshen your breath. And giving a piece away is the most inexpensive way to make a new friend. I read this as gun and thought it was some morbid suicide joke about shooting yourself in the mouth. Was genuinely horrified for a second. Giving a piece away is an inexpensive way to make a new friend that's not inexpensive at all. And a very awkward way to make a new friend. Hey, can I sit next to you? Sure. Want a gun? Pocket sand. When I was in high school, one of my friends told me some guy was looking to duck me up for something his girlfriend said I did to her. I didn't know either of them, and it turned out she just gave a description. And one of his buddies thought it was me, having seen me around. I was scared. Because I've never been a fighter and most people just get jumped in Stockton, CA, but I watched a lot of TV and had a plan. Walking home from school, the guy and two of his friends stopped me. He was yelling at me about messing with his girl. I kept trying to tell him I had no idea who she was and that it wasn't me. But it was clear he wasn't hearing it. I put one hand in my pocket and took my stance, saying, "Alright. Before we do this, I got one thing to say." He and his friends get ready. He leans in, eyes wide, and says, "What?" I yell, "Shikasha." Pocket sand. And throw a fistful of sand in their eyes. Whip around. And run like a rich. I hopped a big stone wall, made it home, and felt pretty great till I realized it would never work again, and that I was going to be destroyed. The guy found me a few days later. He had actually found and dealt with the guy who messed with his girl. I asked if we were cool and apologized like crazy for the sand. He laughed and said that was some of the craziest hit he'd ever seen. Pocket sand can save you and is whooping. Edit. Damn. Thank you everyone. I'm glad folks enjoyed this story. And thank you for gold. You all have made my day. If you were to have another confrontation after using the pocket sand, your next step is clearly to get naked. No one wants to fight a naked person. You gotta make sure it'll end there though. While getting naked, yell and rave about how you're gonna whoop them. Any person with sense will run. I know I'm not fighting a crazy naked guy. Small pocket knife. So you can steal a pen from some sucker. Ah. But the pen is mightier than the small sword. A pocket full of Hawthorne's moist towelettes. I love moist towelettes. They feel so glorious on my sweet ass. Chapstick and an open mind. I'd duck me. Would you duck me? Dances around naked with my junk tucked between my legs. That was technically lipstick, but it seems creepier with chapstick, so I'll allow it, lol. A towel. You're one hoopy fraud. Shall I read this man some Vaughan poetry? Edit. Excerpt from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for those who don't get the reference. Vogon poetry is of course the third worst in the universe. The second worst is that of the Asgoths of Kree. During a recitation by their poet master Grunthus the flatulent of his poem Ode to a Small Lump of Green Putty I Found in My Armpit one midsummer morning, 4 of his audience died of internal hemorrhaging, and the president of the Mid-Galactic Arts Nobbling Council survived by gnawing one of his own legs off. Grunthus was reported to have been disappointed by the poem's reception, and was about to embark on a reading of his 12-book epic entitled My Favorite Bath Time Gurgles when his own major intestine, in a desperate attempt to save humanity, leapt straight up through his neck and throttled his brain. The very worst poetry of all perished along with its creator, Paul Neil Milne Johnston of Redbridge, in the destruction of the planet Earth. Vogon poetry is mild by comparison. Douglas Adams. Water. I realize that's impractical at times, but you never realize how much you need water until you feel thirsty. I just keep a bunch of bottles in a cooler in my car. Refill with a new 35 pack every couple weeks. I get to give them out to homeless people I pass. I always have some when I'm going places with my friends. I grab a couple before I go into work, etc. Good idea, but you should really consider some refillable bottles. That sounds like a ton of plastic waste. A charger tends to help. This may not be so helpful in the middle of nowhere, but on a day-to-day kind of thing it's alright. I dunno. I keep Earl Grey tea, jumper cables, a rear funnel, socks, an umbrella, a toolkit, and tampons in my car at all times. Edit. The tampons aren't for me. They're for women in need who might get caught by surprise. I don't bleed from my peen, and I don't suffer from chronic GSW syndrome. Just in case you need something to beat your son with. Nothing like a good tampon beating to teach a kid some discipline. At all times, my pockets contain phone, wallet, keys, chewing gum, pen, chapstick. Edit. Style. How do you keep style in your pockets? Style point MP3 on a thumb drive. A small pocket knife or a multi-tool. You will become the most useful person in 80% of the rooms you enter. I even use mine to sharpen my pencils. Note, do not carry in a school, university, or otherwise government building. Edit. Alright. I get it. You can carry a knife at your university. I've heard from a dozen of you so far. I don't care anymore. I carry both my knife and multi-tool to university every single day. They are clearly visible on my belt and no one has ever said a thing. Both knives are less than the restricted length, and I need to have them for work, so I don't have much of a choice. Till. I need bigger pockets. r/EDC will leave you to believe that literally everyone is carrying a gun and wearing cargo pants for their impressive amount of gear. A gun for lighting cigarettes and seeing in the dark. A shovel to scoop lake water for drinking with. Some duct tape and zip cuffs in case you need to repair anything. A large watertight sack to sit on if you want a picnic. Heavy duty pliers for tooth removal. 10/10 this guy has a van with no door handles on the inside. A knife. Specifically one of the ones with a seatbelt cutter and glass breaker. Worst cases, you have a weapon on you that fits in a pocket. Or you're in a car crash and have those other two uses. Best case, you have a knife. I don't need to explain that. What day goes by where you don't need to cut something and can't find scissors or anything around you? Spend $15 on one of those or a multi-tool type. It will make your life a lot simpler. I'm not advocating for everyone carrying a knife to work, but it's pretty cheap to carry such a handy one of either type around near you. A guy saved my dog's life with one of these. I was super grateful he happened to have it. How so? Cutting doggo's collar/leash. A first aid kit, including ibuprofen, aspirin, and Benadryl. Also, a small bottle of eucalyptus mint essential oil. You wouldn't believe how many stressed out or stuffy-nosed people have thanked me for that one. Edit. Thank you to everyone who suggested the addition of aspirin in the event of somebody having a heart attack. How do you carry a first aid kit on your person? Edit. I mean for dudes. Maybe if you have a backpack or purse. I generally consider that on my person. A watch. Always have a watch and be able to tell time. I don't know why, but whenever someone asks me what time it is, I forget how to read time if I'm wearing an analog. It's my time to shine. Don't duck this up. What's the big hand for again? Duck. A lighter? No one carries them anymore as so few of us still smoke, but they are useful to have at hand. I've been to 2 kids' parties since Christmas where we struggled to light the cake because the host forgot to bring anything to light it with. Both times we were stuck in a church hall with only an electric cooker and were close to rubbing sticks together. Why not put the cooker on full and start a highly localized chip pan fire, a few square inches at most? I'll try that next time. In this instance someone just ran to the shops to get a lighter. If only we had someone of your keen intellect there. Maybe that short jog could have been avoided. Hand grenade. I can't tell you how many times this thing has come in handy. Need to hammer in a nail? No hammer? Hunk of steel right on your hip. POW. You thump that nail in. Basketball stuck behind the rim? Need something heavy to knock it out? What about something specifically designed to be thrown by the human hand? There you go. Hand grenade. Need to smash a walnut? Boom. Hand grenade. One of the more obscure references I've understood. Your UGIO deck. You never know when someone's going to challenge you to DDDD duel. Now UG, let's work on your stutter. Chapstick. Flashlight. Knife. Lighter. Kleenex. Wet wipes. Small bottle of lotion. ID and some form of money, cash or card. In cars. Always keep first aid kit and restock as needed. Mechanics rags. Shop towels. Extra fluids. Oil. Transmission fluid. Water. Coolant/antifreeze. Windshield wiper fluid. Jumper cables. Microfiber rags for windshield. Blanket. Nuts or some other snack that won't go bad. Coat. Umbrella. Extra set of clothes. Good car jack. Car charger for phone. And good 4-way tire iron as well as everything in above list. My dad was an army ranger and taught me to always have rations and tools for emergencies and to keep them CDS, clean, dry and serviceable. Lotion and wet wipes. This is where the fun begins. Napkins. Help fill in a bunch of situations. A flask. Thermos or hip. Or both. Earl Grey is great with a drop of scotch. Scotch is my go-to for mixing with scotch. A book. Instant entertainment in boring situations. Also has infinite battery life. I find the shelf life of a book, is usually 100-200 years without proper maintenance, as long as nothing eats them. Not infinite. But it's true you never have to charge it in your lifetime. Technically the book is photon powered, in that it doesn't work without some sort of external light source. Wet wipes. Spill something. No toilet paper. Ate some greasy food. I leave some in the glove compartment of my car. Very duckin' useful. So you're at work and you're hitting. You realize there's no TP and the wet wipes are in your glove compartment which is in the car park 3 stories down. What do you do? Band-aids. I do. Anyway. I use about 2 per week. I've used 2 in the last decade. I freaking hate them. I would rather bleed everywhere than use one. Nail clipper. Way better than gnawing on a hangnail. Plus, it can clip the little plastic things off tags. Get rid of loose threads. Start a tear in plastic packaging. Etc. I use it to fix loose carpet strings. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.